We went over the the vows or whatever this morning, and one of the questions was, will you willingly accept children from God? And it's the obvious answer to just move the wedding along, to move the mass along, is just to say, yes, I do. But when it's not just words there, it's just, it's your actions. It's your promise to God saying, yes, God, I will accept kids willingly. And for me to say yes and then say, let's not have kids, that's totally, that breaks my heart to, and just lying to God. And even to myself and to my wife, to say, yes, let's move this wedding along so we can get to the drinks and stuff. That's not my idea, but just to say, yes, I will willingly accept kids. We will accept kids in our relationship. Whether God blesses us with one or a whole football team, that's great, or at least an altar server crew or something like that. But and we look towards our patrons, Saints Louis and Zélie Martin, and just look at their example of willingly accept. They willingly accepted children from God, and look at their example of guiding their children to become saints. And that's what our goal is and our deal is now. Relaying that message to the world is, we could hand out all kinds of pamphlets and stuff like that, but it doesn't work. It's just being a model and a good example. And we've had a lot of great models in our life. Just in our engagement process, we've had a lot of couples that we've looked at and have learned from them.
So the witness is very, very important, yes.
It's your model too.
There is this witness value to marriage, obviously, and to the witness of the cross and so on. And is there a way, though, that you think the church could be more effective in capitalizing that witness or amplifying that witness or kind of getting the word out more positively, because it seems that the opposite message seems to be getting out?
I think one thing that has been really profound to me over the past couple of years thinking about families, and I think sometimes we forget that a lot of evangelization, a lot of the love is done within the family itself. A lot of the people's experience growing up in their own families, like if you can't love your own family, then it's almost like what can be done outside? People are really affected by how their family life has been. I know there's not one singular way that each family will operate. But there are so many endless ways that people are loved and people can love. I don't have answers for how you can love better, for how each person can love better, other than to have an example of the sacrifice that Jesus himself gave us. Even if people don't know necessarily that it is Jesus who is our model or who inspires us or who we are following. People I think are more affected by how they're treated than by our words, like by the genuineness with which we act. So I think helping to strengthen families to be their domestic churches, to come into the fullness of their role as a family, as parents, as husbands, as wives, as godparents, or just people who are helping raise kids or having a family in whatever form it is. I think that's the best way to get that kind of message out there, that good news out there, that people are loved in one way or another. Yes.
I was speaking with a woman once who was very upset that her daughter had to go through a marriage preparation process in the church. And I said, well, it's because our culture doesn't really support marriage as we understand it as Christians. And so we have to make sure that the right questions are asked. And she said to me, well, my daughter knows all about marriage. She's been married 4 times. So what's the difference between like having experience, this is obviously a woman who is very experienced about marriage, and having the experience that we want people to have? Because I think there's a very prevalent mentality in our culture that the experience is more quantity than quality.
Our church is very good at doing this. It's, here's what you need to know, now take it and live it. What I feel our church really should be doing is, here's what you need to know, Let us show you, let us walk with you as you live it. When it comes down to how do you go against the current culture, which is a culture of me, you got to take care of me. Even with our young adults, and really I think if you want to target marriage, you've got to target young adults, and maybe even before that with our youth, because that's where the formation sticks. And when you're in a relationship, you practice what you know. Unfortunately, young adults don't know what we know yet. We don't know what to practice because we don't know what's right. That's what we're trying to figure out together. So when it comes to how do we transform this mentality, we have to be able to walk alongside each other as we're doing it. Our churches on the parish level should be promoting good Christian single lives amongst our young adults and showing them how to do it, walking with them and how to do it. It should be promoting this environment where families are welcome. Families, because I don't know how many, I have plenty of friends and I know plenty of other people that won't go to church or they won't go to Mass because they can't watch their kids. That's sad when you think about it, because Mass is supposed to be a community thing. It's supposed to be a family thing. It's where you first learn to be a family. So we've got to promote environments where we can grow together, not just with our individual nuclear families, but together as a faith family. Because then you can bring what you know and practice those into the nuclear family, instead of this whole, here's what you need to know, and then we hope you can get it done.